Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance and asks, is he satisfied that all the government's economic policies contribute to the goal of, and I quote, clear, credible, ambitious and growth-friendly medium-term fiscal consolidation?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the answer to that is yes. The goal the member is referring to is one that was set out either by the OECD or the International Monetary Fund in one of their G20 ministers in their recent communique.
Supplementary.
Metiria Turei.
How does it help to meet this goal by paying over $1 billion a year in accommodation supplement subsidies to landlords, especially as the total government housing subsidy is expected to rise to nearly $3 billion by 2016?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, the member will be aware there's been debate for some time about what drives the cost of housing. We will continue to pay the accommodation supplement to tenants, and I know some believe that that is just passed on to landlords, but try taking it off the tenants and see what happens. Of course, it would leave them in an unacceptable situation. The member will know the government's done a review. The government has done a review of state housing, and a number of our Resource Management Act changes are designed to increase the supply of affordable housing.
Metiria Turei.
Does he agree then that it is an inadequate supply of housing to meet the current deficit of 70,000 homes that is fuelling the projected blowout of the government's housing subsidy?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, I think the member is probably, at least in part, right, that constraints on the supply of housing drive up the costs of housing, including for those tenants that the government is subsidising. I look forward to the support of the Green Party in the government making changes to our regulatory structures to improve the supply of affordable housing.
Supplementary.
Metiria Turei.
Well, will the Minister then consider a State House building program like that proposed in the Green Party's Mind the Gap package of 6,000 homes over 3 to 5 years, which will help to address the housing shortage, constrain the growth in the housing subsidy and create 28,000 jobs in the process?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, I think the government's obvious preference would be that the private sector is able to expand the supply of affordable houses. We've just done a review of state housing where a pretty broad-based group with a lot of experience in housing has made the point that a simple growth in the number of state houses often doesn't help those who are most in need, and they are the government's priority.
Supplementary.
Metiria Turei.
Well, why then is the government prepared to borrow ever-increasing sums of money to fund a housing subsidy for landlords, and yet is not prepared to borrow to invest in building homes for New Zealand families?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, I'm not sure if we're disagreeing here. The government would like to see a greater supply of affordable housing. It's somewhat ironic, though, that the Green Party are among those who most vociferously object to new subdivisions and to the expansion of supply of housing. If we could get those rules changed in local bodies so to encourage more affordable housing, that might drop the cost of the rental subsidy as well as increase the opportunities for first home buyers.
Question number 3, the Honourable